Hello everyone, Ben Williams here and welcome back to the Old Tin Cup YouTube channel. Now what I want to do right now is I have a bunch of guys here in New York, and I know deer season has opened up in a lot of other states. Some people are going out west chasing elk, a bunch of different stuff like that. But what I wanted to really talk about real quick is some tips and tricks and techniques going into this upcoming season that I hope can help you guys be successful, and you're not too late to be getting some of these done, especially a lot of them, which is really good and can help you going forward, even if you are a little bit late in some of these aspects. Now this is stuff that can apply to whether you hunt private land, whether you hunt public land, whether you own, whether you lease. A lot of these tips and techniques are going to be interchangeable and work for a lot of different people. So that's something that I really wanted to start hitting on, is a lot more stuff that can help a lot more people rather than just a landowner or something like that. So first and foremost, what I want to talk about is trail cameras. This is a great little tip. I'm right here by this camera where I started shooting this video. I looked over, it wasn't even going to be part of the video, but now it is. So I like to have these cameras positioned at least 6 foot, maybe even a little bit higher. This one's a little bit low kind of for my liking, but the way that it shoots, it misses that horizon line with this. So that's the reason why. I do like a screw in. Now this is not applicable for guys that hunt public land. I think this gives a lot lower profile. I'll tuck it into a much bigger tree or a split tree like this. You can see I kind of tuck it up in there, almost looks like a nice shadow. Zero deer look at this camera. It's been out now for a little over a month and a half, 2 months, and I've had no deer peg the camera, which is something I really strive for now, is not having deer peg the camera. So that's a quick little tip if you're putting cameras on public or private ground. Also can help you catch more deer and more trespassers. It's already got 500 pictures on it in less than a week. So there's your quick tip number one. I'm going to try to do these about every minute. Hopefully I can get a tip a minute. So tip number two that we're going to do right now is, a lot of us that were planting food plots specifically experienced drought this year. So what do we do to combat that? You saw I did a couple nice video sections on no-tilling plots. Specifically, this is one of the buckwheat ones. I can't remember if this was featured specifically in a video or I uploaded the time lapse, one or the other. But this plot was planted, I think, a week ago now. But before that, it was planted, like, I want to say first weekend, second weekend of August. So planted a little bit earlier than I normally plant, but I hopefully had rain coming. Weatherman wasn't honest and isn't always honest. So unfortunately, the beans, the oats, and a lot of the other stuff we had in this mix initially, especially the beans and the oats, were going to get burnt out without having rain. I mean, we went 20 days or 21 days with less than 1/10 of an inch of rain in total. So it wasn't really applicable. So I knew I was going to have seed loss there. Some of the harder stuff, like some of the turnip that was in that mix, the radish, the crimson clover, stuff like that, red clover, I knew that would be fairly hardy comparatively. So I adjusted my seeding rates accordingly. And I went over, and this is a great time to talk about saving your food plots if you still have them. Now I can plant, or you can plant, winter wheat or cereal rye right up into, I would say, October 1 is the latest I've planted it here in the Upper Finger Lakes region in New York. But you could get away with planting this within the next week or two if you got good rain coming. Like we had rain coming today, so I threw more wheat and rye out on cover crop plots that are just going to basically wheat and rye this year. So that's what we got here. I mean, you can see you got lovely thatch here. You can see germination. This is actually some of the oats actually are popping from before, so that's really cool to know. I did put wheat to this a little bit. You can see the brassicas coming up. There was some clover. There's a little clover right there. So some of the seed's going to take, but if you do have a fail, you have an overbrowsed plot, a failed plot, something didn't work, it's not too late to throw some cereal grains to it, and don't go into the fall with an empty food plot. It's not sexy. It's not beans or turnips or whatever necessarily to save some of these plots. It's simple winter wheat or cereal rye, whatever your soil conditions are or whatever is available to you. Get something green on the table for them going into the fall. So that was a couple different tips for food plots. Now I'm going to talk about elevated blinds quick. This is our terrain blind. We like these blinds a lot. This is actually the one my cousin shot his first deer out of last year before we expanded the West Side Storage spot. So hopefully I can get to that real quick. A couple things with this. A couple trees are coming out. They don't work anymore from the blind perspective. They did in the fall and in the winter time when we were expanding this, but they just don't going down the road. and I'll explain why when we walk over there and get the last tip out of the way. So that's going to brush in the bottom here. We're also going to put some artificial Christmas tree pieces that I picked up at yard sales over there. So trick and tip, brushing in some of your blinds or stand locations with artificial Christmas tree limbs can be very beneficial because the leaves don't drop. And if you can fasten them to something and give you good cover and structure, throughout the hunting season, even better. So there's two quick tips about hunting blinds. Make sure your platform's brushed in, and also those are the new rubber mats for the floor in there. I don't like carpet because carpet holds a lot of scent, so that's why I like rubberized mats when I'm in there in the blind. It's going to deaden sound, and it's going to cut down on the amount of scent, comparatively speaking, to carpet. So, last tip. I'm going to try to get through this real quick. Having good access is always key. We talk about it a lot on this channel. It's access. It's the biggest improvement you can make on a majority of the properties I see. It's the biggest improvement people could make is improving their access. But what I want to talk about here is an early season tip. A couple of perspectives with that. There is, when we expanded this food plot, and this could be out on a piece of public land, whether you're scouting right now or whatever, get out there last minute scouting, pick out your stand location, something like that. What we have right here is when we made this food plot bigger, is we found this apple tree. Let's see if I can get her to focus. Not really. There it is. What this has is about 200 apples on this little tree because we released it finally. It was struggling for years, and now, boom, it's got a ton of apples on it. And they haven't started dropping yet, so I'm hoping they hold into October. Big early season draw. Also get a set of binoculars out, start looking up in these oak trees, start seeing which ones are producing this year heavy, or you might even be able to go out. Some of them are already starting to drop early because they're stressed out because we had some dry conditions. So there's that. Also, another little tip, I'm going to pack a bunch of them into this video as quick as I can, one take everything. So we have the blind, and when we were pushing this plot out, we strategically didn't want the deer to come from behind you or to visibly see you access this plot or the blind. And I intended on putting a stand in one of these trees here along this side of this extension, which again, I don't even know if I'm going to put this to a plot, or at least all of it anyway. I think I might leave some of it just native habitat, and I think it'll flow a lot better and work a lot better for me. But what I'm going to do is I've picked this tree out tentatively. My buddy Jake's going to be out here with me tomorrow. I'm going to set my last couple stands of the year. And this is going to be something that, as long as I'm a month out, I'm probably not going to hunt this the first week or second week October, so later in the season. So I'm okay with setting stuff this first week of September, maybe the second week. If it's what you have time for, it's what you have time for. But the way this is designed when we made this plot is we have brush here, again, that keeps the deer from coming behind you. And shields your access. Also, it doesn't let them come up right under the stand, and gives us a nice little squeezy pinch point right here, and there's another one down there. That's just where we had to pile stuff. When you make stuff ripped out to make food plots extensions or to clear land, you're gonna have piles of stuff. So, and we didn't want to burn it, so it's strategically piled, but tall, so it's not gonna provide much of cover for other than maybe some small game animals in there and stuff like that. But the big thing is the screening, which gives it really good. Last tip is, I don't know why more people aren't doing them, mock scrapes around every stand location at a minimum. I have one or two that have cameras just for inventory purposes, like on utility right-of-ways, stuff like that, where a lot of deer will be cruising through, so I can get some inventory about what deer are on or using that property at what time of the year, when, whatever. But mock scrapes, guys, use them. The grapevines are killer. Pine branches, oak branches are killer. Whatever you see deer scraping on in your area. I've seen them hit buckthorn, kind of, box elder, I mean, you name it, catalpa, box elder. I've seen scrapes on everything, but I really do like these grapevines. They're versatile. This one was actually in this box elder tree when we expanded this and cleared this out. So we left that one. I'm going to take the rest of them out because I don't want like 15 scrapes under this tree. I'm probably going to cut the rest of them out. These are actually just the ones I cut with the chainsaw when we were cutting around this. But I'll have a nice mock scrape, boom, and I'll have a nice apple tree, boom, and a nice feeding area as well out here with some woody regeneration. This could be a clear-cut area on public land that this simulates too as well. This could be a great food source draw to look for, soft mass, hard mass, hunting can be applicable to people who own or people who have public land. So there's my tips, guys, in 10 minutes. I crammed a bunch of them in here. The big things that I think can really be done here still before season: last minute scouting, stand locations, hard mass scouting. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff. It's not too late, even not too late to save some of the food plots and get some green on the ground going into this fall. So I'm hopefully going to have a stand in this tree tomorrow, and I'll hopefully be able to put up a video or a picture of it on Instagram and explain it a little bit more in detail with that. So if you haven't, please check out our Facebook page, please check out the Instagram. Feel free to drop a like, drop a comment, let us know what you think about this kind of tips, tricks, and strategies kind of stuff that I'm doing more of, because I want to help people, and it seems to be what everybody wants. So I'm trying to help you guys be better land managers and better hunters at the same time. So whether you're an owner or you hunt public land, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you all next time here in the field. Take care, guys.